God says, someone in your family who has already passed away is trying to warn you and tell you something very important. Don't skip God. Do not scroll past these words, because what you are about to hear carries a weight that can shift your path, protect your future, and open your eyes to something you have been overlooking for far too long. I am speaking to you now with urgency and tenderness, because there is a reason your heart feels stirred at this very moment, and it is not by accident that you are here reading this. The one in your family who has already passed away is not wandering or trapped, but I am allowing the memory of their voice, their wisdom, and their love to rise inside you as a warning and as protection. Comment 1111. I want you to understand clearly what this means, because this is not about fear or superstition, and it is not about spirits trying to reach across realms in confusion. This is about me, your God, using the deep imprint that person left on your life to get your attention before you make a decision that could wound your peace or delay your blessing. The one who has already passed away carried insight, love, and concern for you while they were on earth. And I am stirring those memories now, so you will pause and listen carefully to the direction I am placing in your heart. If this is touching you deeply, take a moment to like this video so this word can reach more hearts who need it. There is something very important that you have been sensing lately, and you have tried to brush it aside as imagination or emotion, yet it keeps returning quietly when you are alone and thinking. That gentle nudge, that familiar inner reminder that sounds like something they would have said to you, is my way of protecting you from repeating a painful cycle that once hurt your family deeply. I am not allowing confusion to surround you, but clarity to grow within you, because I love you too much to let you step blindly into something that will steal your joy. The one who has already passed away cannot speak on their own, but I can use the love they planted in your heart to remind you of truths you were taught and values that were once strong in you. I am bringing back their expressions, their warnings, and even their prayers over you so that you will remember who you are and whose you are. You have been chosen and covered, even when you felt alone in your grief, and their passing did not remove my protection from your life. The warning you are receiving is not meant to frighten you, but to redirect you gently before consequences grow heavier. There is a relationship, a financial step, or a personal compromise that you have been considering, and deep inside you feel a hesitation that sounds like their wisdom speaking again. That hesitation is my mercy, and I am asking you to trust it rather than silence it, because obedience in this moment will save you from regret later. You are not crazy for feeling this stirring, and you are not weak for still missing the one who has already passed away so deeply that tears rise unexpectedly. Grief created a sacred space in your heart where their love still echoes, and I am stepping into that space to guide you safely forward. I am your shepherd, and I know how to reach you in ways that are personal and unmistakable, and sometimes that includes awakening the memory of someone who once guided you with care. Right? Amen. There is something very important ahead, and it involves a choice that may look harmless on the surface, but carries hidden weight beneath it. I am urging you to slow down, to pray quietly, and to remember the lessons that were spoken over you years ago at a kitchen table, in a hospital room, or during a simple walk together. Those words were not wasted, and the love behind them did not disappear when their life on earth ended. I am protecting your destiny because you are favored and called, even when you doubt your own strength and direction. The enemy would love for you to ignore this inner warning and move forward carelessly, but I am placing a holy pause in your spirit so that wisdom can rise stronger than impulse. The one who has already passed away once wanted nothing more than your safety and your happiness, and I am honoring that love by using it now to shield you from harm. You have felt unusually emotional lately, and certain memories have surfaced without you intentionally trying to recall them, and that is not random or meaningless. I am aligning your heart with truth, because there is a breakthrough waiting for you on the other side of obedience, and I do not want you to miss it through distraction or pride. This is why I said do not skip God, because in these moments of quiet conviction, I am speaking louder than you realize. You are deeply loved, and you are being watched over by me with unwavering attention, even in seasons where you felt abandoned or forgotten. The passing of your family member did not end the story of their influence in your life, because what was planted in you continues to grow under my care. I am turning what once felt like loss into a channel of wisdom, and I am transforming sorrow into guidance that keeps you steady. Hold close the lessons you were given, listen to the conviction rising inside you, and trust that I am orchestrating protection around you in ways you cannot fully see yet. There is something very important you are being warned about, and by listening now, you are stepping into safety, clarity, and a future that remains blessed under my hand. I am your God, and I am not silent in your life, and today I have reached you through love that never truly fades. You have felt the shift in your atmosphere, even if you could not explain it with simple words, because there has been a quiet seriousness settling over your thoughts that refuses to be ignored. I am continuing to speak, because the warning connected to the one in your family who has already passed away is unfolding in layers, and I want you to see the full picture rather than only fragments. What you sensed before was only the beginning of my protection rising around you like a shield that you did not even know you needed. What if 7 seconds is all it takes to flip your financial fate? A shocking CIA leak just exposed a hidden brain ritual helping ordinary people erase debt and pull in massive wealth. Backed by 4 neuroscience labs, this at-home method is turning struggle into luxury fast. But this page could be erased any moment. Click the link in the first comment now before it's gone forever. There are patterns in your family line that were never fully broken, and the one who has already passed away understood more about those patterns than you realized at the time. They saw consequences, sacrifices, and silent struggles that were hidden from your younger eyes, and they carried concerns about certain choices that could repeat history if left unchecked. I am now bringing those concerns back into your awareness, not to burden you with fear, but to empower you with wisdom that can change the direction of your future. The warning is connected to timing, because there is something approaching that looks like opportunity, but carries a hidden cost to your peace, your integrity, or your spiritual growth. You may feel drawn toward it because it promises relief, recognition, or quick advancement. Yet beneath the surface, there is instability that could create deep regret. I am stirring the memory of your loved one so that you remember how they valued patience, character, and steady growth over shortcuts that lead to sorrow. Comment 777. You are not being restricted, you are being protected, and there is a great difference between the two, even if they feel similar in the moment. When I close a door or cause hesitation to rise inside you, it is because I see outcomes that you cannot yet see from your limited view. The one who has already passed away once prayed that you would be guarded from the very mistakes that wounded previous generations. And I am answering that prayer now in a way that reaches your heart directly. You have also been carrying unresolved emotions connected to their passing, and those emotions have quietly influenced some of your recent decisions without you fully recognizing it. Grief can create a desire to prove something, to fill a void quickly, or to seek comfort in places that feel familiar but are not healthy. I am inviting you to slow down and heal deeply, rather than rush forward, driven by unspoken pain that still needs my gentle touch. There is something very important about your current environment, because not everyone around you is aligned with the destiny I have placed on your life. The one who has already passed away may have once warned you about certain influences, certain attitudes, or certain compromises that would eventually weaken your spirit. I am reminding you of those warnings now because you are at a crossroads where alignment matters more than convenience. You are called to a higher standard than you sometimes allow yourself to believe, and that calling requires courage to step away from what is popular or immediately rewarding. The warning is not only about avoiding harm, but also about preserving the purity of your purpose so that you can step into blessings that require integrity and strength. I am shaping you into someone who breaks cycles rather than repeats them, and that transformation demands obedience in moments like this. There is also a financial decision hovering near you, and it carries the temptation of quick relief from pressures that have weighed heavily on your mind. The one who has already passed away may have lived through seasons where financial strain created anxiety, and they learned lessons about stewardship that were not always easy. I am asking you to remember those lessons and resist anything that promises fast gain at the cost of long-term stability and peace. Type 1212. You have been feeling restless at night, replaying conversations, imagining different outcomes, and sensing that something needs to change, even if you cannot define it clearly. That restlessness is part of my warning, because I am not allowing you to move forward comfortably in a direction that would damage your calling. The one who has already passed away once desired that you would surpass their limitations and step into a life marked by wisdom, and I am guiding you toward that fulfillment. There is also a relational boundary that needs strengthening because you have been giving more than you are receiving, and it is draining your emotional and spiritual reserves. Your loved one may have modeled self-sacrifice, yet they also understood the importance of discernment in who they trusted deeply. I am teaching you to love without losing yourself, and to serve without surrendering the values that define your faith and identity. You are not alone in this process. Even when the weight of responsibility feels heavy on your shoulders, and the memory of loss still brings tears unexpectedly, I am walking with you through every thought, every hesitation, and every quiet moment where you feel torn between what is easy and what is right. The warning connected to the one who has already passed away is ultimately about life, because I desire you to live fully, wisely, and free from unnecessary sorrow. There is a blessing prepared for you that requires clarity of mind and steadiness of heart, and I do not want it delayed because of impulsive action or misplaced trust. I am rearranging circumstances quietly, shifting conversations, and exposing subtle red flags so that you can recognize truth without confusion. The more you lean into my guidance, the more obvious the right path will become, and peace will replace the tension you have been carrying. You may feel emotional as these realizations settle within you, because it brings both comfort and seriousness to know that I am intervening so personally in your life. The one who has already passed away is not the source of the warning, but their love is the channel through which I am capturing your full attention. I am proving to you that nothing connected to your life is wasted, not even loss, because I redeem every part of your story for protection and growth. There is something very important that will soon become clear, and when it does, you will understand why this warning came before the decision rather than after the consequences. You will see that my hand was steady, patient, and firm in guiding you away from harm and toward blessing. Trust the stirring inside you, because it is rooted in my wisdom and strengthened by love that has followed you through every season. People are asking why money is suddenly flowing into random lives. A leaked CIA discovery reveals a 7-second brain ritual that quietly rewires your mind for wealth. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, people are wiping out debt and stepping into luxury with ease. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. You are favored, guarded, and deeply known by me, and I will continue to speak in ways that reach beyond surface understanding and into the core of your being. Hold on to the lessons that echo from the one who has already passed away, because those lessons are now illuminated by my Spirit to protect your tomorrow. Walk carefully, choose wisely, and rest in the assurance that I am actively shaping your path with purpose and unwavering care. The one in your family who has already passed away carried experiences that shaped their convictions, and those convictions were seeds planted into you long before you realized their value. I am watering those seeds now so that they rise to the surface of your thinking and influence the path you choose next. You have recently been standing at an invisible intersection where two roads seem equally possible, and from the outside both paths appear reasonable and acceptable. Yet inside your spirit, there has been a quiet resistance to one of them, a subtle heaviness that refuses to leave even when you try to rationalize it away. That resistance is my mercy, operating through the memory of your loved one, because I know which direction preserves your peace and which direction slowly erodes it. The one who has already passed away once endured consequences that were not always visible to others, and they carried silent lessons about trust, loyalty, and compromise that you only partially understood at the time. I am bringing clarity now so that you do not romanticize what they endured, but instead learn from what they overcame. You are not meant to repeat their hidden battles, but to rise above them with wisdom that honors their journey while transforming your own. Comment 999. There is also something very important about your emotional vulnerability in this season, because you have been more sensitive than usual to opinions, approval, and the fear of disappointing others. Grief changes the way you measure security, and sometimes it causes you to cling to situations that feel stable even if they are not healthy. I am strengthening your inner foundation so that your decisions are guided by truth rather than by the need to fill an absence left by loss. You may have noticed that certain conversations lately have triggered unexpected memories of the one who has already passed away, almost as if their perspective is rising to challenge what you are hearing. That is not coincidence, and it is not imagination running wild, but my spirit activating the wisdom that was already stored inside you. I am reminding you of how they valued honesty over convenience and long-term integrity over short-term comfort. There is a door that appears attractive because it promises recognition and validation, yet beneath its surface lies pressure that would slowly pull you away from the simplicity of your faith. I am asking you to evaluate not only what you gain outwardly, but what you might lose inwardly if you step through that door too quickly. The warning is rooted in protection of your spirit, because your calling requires clarity, purity, and steadiness of heart. The one who has already passed away once desired that you would walk confidently in who you are, without bending to expectations that do not align with your values. I am echoing that desire now, because you are standing at a moment where subtle compromise could look harmless, while planting seeds of regret. I love you too much to allow you to drift without correction, and that is why this warning feels persistent rather than gentle suggestion. There is also healing attached to this season, because as I warn you, I am simultaneously restoring parts of your heart that were wounded when your loved one left this earth. You have carried quiet guilt about words unsaid or time not fully spent, and that guilt has influenced how you handle present relationships. I am lifting that weight from you so that your decisions are not driven by regret but by renewed confidence in my forgiveness and grace. Write 555. The one who has already passed away is not troubled, and they are not anxious about you, because they are in my care and beyond earthly fear. The urgency you feel is not their distress, but my intentional intervention to guard your next step. I am separating truth from emotion so that you can respond with calm obedience rather than panic or confusion. There is something very important regarding trust in your current circle, because not everyone who smiles at you carries your best interest in their heart. Your loved one may have once warned you gently about being overly generous with personal details or quick to rely on promises that lacked substance. I am sharpening your discernment so that you can recognize sincerity without becoming cynical and caution without becoming isolated. You are entering a phase where your growth will become visible, and with visibility comes both opportunity and opposition. The warning connected to the one who has already passed away is preparing you for that exposure so that success does not destabilize your character. I am anchoring you in humility and wisdom before elevation arrives, because promotion without preparation often leads to collapse. There has also been a lingering habit that you have justified quietly, telling yourself it is small enough to ignore and manageable enough to control. The one who has already passed away may have struggled with a similar pattern, and you saw firsthand how small compromises can accumulate into heavy consequences. I am urging you to confront that habit now while it is still weak, rather than waiting until it gains strength and influence over your peace. You are not being accused or condemned, because my correction always carries love and the intention of restoration. I am refining you gently, drawing you away from subtle distractions that could dull your spiritual sensitivity over time. The warning is not about punishment, but about positioning you for blessing that requires a clear conscience and disciplined heart. There is something very important about timing in this season, because delay is not denial and hesitation is not failure. You may feel pressure from others to decide quickly or move forward before you feel fully settled inside, yet I am teaching you the power of waiting for alignment. The one who has already passed away once learned that rushed decisions often create long seasons of repair, and I am saving you from that burden. Why is everyone rushing to this 7-second brain ritual? Leaked CIA files exposed a hidden brainwave technique that opens the door to wealth fast. Verified by 4 top neuroscience labs, it's turning financial stress into abundance almost overnight. But this secret won't stay public for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it's deleted forever. You are deeply protected even when you do not see visible signs of my hand moving around you. I am closing conversations that would have led you astray, redirecting plans that seemed solid, and allowing small inconveniences to prevent larger disasters. What feels like frustration today will reveal itself as protection tomorrow, and you will recognize the wisdom in every pause I placed before you. The warning is also an invitation to maturity, because I am calling you to respond not as a fearful child, but as a discerning adult rooted in faith. The one who has already passed away planted courage in you, and I am activating that courage so that you can say no when necessary, and yes, only when peace confirms it. You are capable of wise decisions, and I am reinforcing that confidence with my steady guidance. There is a blessing approaching that depends on your obedience in this very moment, and I do not want it complicated by avoidable regret. As you honor the warning connected to your loved one, you are honoring the love that shaped you and the God who sustains you. Continue to listen carefully, move thoughtfully, and trust that I am aligning every detail of your life with purpose, protection, and unshakable grace. You have been sensing that something around you is not fully aligned, even though you cannot point to obvious evidence that justifies your discomfort. That uneasiness is not paranoia, and it is not weakness, but discernment that is sharpening through experience and through my presence guiding you carefully. The one who has already passed away once carried similar unease in certain moments of their life, and I allowed them to learn through both obedience and consequences, but I desire you to learn primarily through wisdom. There is something very important about repetition in your life, because patterns often hide beneath different faces and new opportunities while carrying the same underlying risk. You may believe that this time is different, that you are stronger now, and that you can manage what once overwhelmed you. I am reminding you gently that strength does not mean placing yourself in unnecessary battles, but choosing paths that align with peace and long-term stability. Comment 222. You have also been struggling with the weight of expectation, feeling as though you must prove your resilience after the loss of the one who has already passed away. There is a subtle drive inside you that wants to demonstrate independence, success, and emotional recovery in ways that appear impressive to others. I am asking you to release that pressure because your worth is not measured by how quickly you move on or how boldly you appear, but by how faithfully you walk with me. The warning connected to your loved one is guiding you away from decisions rooted in pride or the desire to silence critics who doubt your strength. You do not need to impress anyone by stepping into situations that strain your spirit or compromise your values. I am teaching you that true maturity includes the courage to decline what looks attractive but feels misaligned with the peace I am cultivating within you. There is also a deeper layer involving forgiveness that has remained partially unresolved in your heart. When the one who has already passed away left this world, there were tensions and misunderstandings that never found full closure. Those unresolved emotions sometimes color how you interpret present conflicts, and they can push you to react strongly in moments that require calm reflection. I am healing that hidden wound so that your present choices are not influenced by past pain. Write 1515. You have been revisiting memories that carry both warmth and regret, and I am allowing those memories to surface because they contain lessons that are still relevant to your current path. The one who has already passed away may have warned you about certain character traits that run in your family, such as stubbornness, avoidance, or the tendency to trust too quickly. I am not exposing these patterns to shame you, but to free you from repeating cycles that limit your growth. There is something very important about the environment you are about to enter, because it will test your boundaries more subtly than you expect. You may not face obvious temptation or visible danger, but gradual shifts that normalize what once felt unacceptable. I am strengthening your inner conviction so that even small compromises trigger awareness rather than silent agreement. You have also been carrying responsibility for others in a way that stretches you beyond healthy limits, partly because you feel obligated to honor the legacy of the one who has already passed away. You may believe that carrying extra burdens proves your loyalty or love, yet I am reminding you that you are not called to sacrifice your own peace, to fulfill expectations that I never placed upon you. I am inviting you into balanced stewardship where compassion does not lead to self-neglect. The warning is also about your spiritual sensitivity, because you have noticed that your time with me has become rushed or distracted recently. The busyness surrounding you has made it easier to postpone reflection and prayer, leaving your discernment slightly dulled. I am drawing you back into deeper communion so that your next steps are guided by clarity rather than reaction. There is something very important about trust in this season, and it begins with trusting me above your own reasoning. The one who has already passed away once leaned on their own understanding in moments that later required correction, and you witnessed the consequences in subtle ways. I am asking you to choose a different path by inviting me fully into your decision-making, rather than consulting me only after choices are made. Comment 1717. You may feel overwhelmed by the seriousness of this warning, yet I want you to feel hope rather than anxiety because my intention is protection, not punishment. I am not forecasting disaster, but preventing it by positioning you wisely before challenges intensify. The one who has already passed away loved you deeply, and that love remains a powerful influence that I can use to guide you safely forward. There is a blessing approaching that requires emotional stability and spiritual alignment, and I am refining you now so that you can receive it without fear or self-sabotage. You have sometimes doubted whether you are truly ready for greater responsibility, yet I see your potential more clearly than you see yourself. This warning is part of your preparation, strengthening areas that need reinforcement before elevation comes. Is this the same CIA brain ritual changing lives in seconds? A new leak reveals a powerful 7-second technique developed under secret research. Backed by neuroscience, people are moving from debt to wealth and luxury faster than believed possible. But this secret may be deleted soon. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. You are also being asked to release comparison, because you have quietly measured your progress against others who seem further ahead or more secure. The one who has already passed away once compared their journey to peers and carried unnecessary disappointment because of it. I am freeing you from that pattern so that your focus remains on your unique path rather than someone else's timeline. There is something very important about patience, because what you are waiting for will arrive in proper time without manipulation or forced acceleration. I am closing the door to rushed advancement and opening the way to steady growth that builds lasting foundation. When you look back, you will see that every pause was deliberate and every hesitation was mercy in disguise. You are deeply guarded even when circumstances appear uncertain, and I am weaving together lessons from your past with guidance for your future in ways that only I can orchestrate. The one who has already passed away is part of your story, but I am the author who continues writing chapters filled with protection and purpose. Stay attentive, remain humble, and trust that this warning is shaping you into someone who walks securely in wisdom and unshakable faith. You are beginning to see that this warning is not fading but becoming clearer, because I am not finished shaping your understanding in this season. The one in your family who has already passed away left more than memories behind, because they left impressions, convictions, and unspoken prayers that still carry weight in your life. I am bringing those hidden influences to the surface so that you recognize how deeply you have been prepared for this moment. There is something very important about the way you have been minimizing your own intuition, especially when it aligns with values that were instilled in you years ago. You sometimes dismiss that inner caution because you do not want to appear overly sensitive or resistant to change. I am strengthening that caution now because it is not weakness, but wisdom that has matured through experience and through my quiet guidance. The one who has already passed away once faced a situation where they ignored early signs, and the consequences taught them lessons they wished they had learned sooner. You may remember fragments of conversations where they admitted regret or expressed a desire to choose differently if given another opportunity. I am allowing those recollections to sharpen your awareness so that you can choose wisely before regret ever has a chance to grow. Comment 1919. You have also been wrestling with loyalty, because part of you feels obligated to continue certain traditions or commitments simply because they were important to your loved one. I am gently reminding you that honoring someone's memory does not require repeating their unfinished battles or carrying burdens that were never assigned to you. True honor means living with integrity and courage, not trapping yourself in cycles that restrict your growth. There is something very important about your present relationships, because some dynamics resemble old patterns more closely than you have been willing to admit. You may notice similar communication styles, similar emotional triggers, or similar imbalances of effort and respect. I am not accusing anyone, but I am opening your eyes so that familiarity does not blind you to warning signs that deserve thoughtful evaluation. The one who has already passed away may have once tolerated certain behaviors out of fear of conflict or desire for peace, and you witnessed the toll it took over time. I am asking you to break that pattern by choosing healthy boundaries that preserve your dignity and spiritual stability. You are not called to endure what slowly diminishes your joy, especially when I am offering you clarity and strength to respond differently. There is also a financial and practical dimension to this warning that you cannot afford to overlook. You have been considering a commitment that seems manageable now, yet it would limit your flexibility later in ways that restrict future opportunities I am preparing. I am urging you to think beyond immediate convenience and to evaluate long-term impact with patience and prayerful reflection. Write 1010. You have felt moments of loneliness since the one who has already passed away left your side, and that loneliness has quietly influenced your decision-making more than you realize. It can create urgency to secure companionship, validation, or stability, even when alignment is incomplete. I am filling that loneliness with my presence so that your choices are not driven by fear of emptiness, but by confidence in my constant companionship. There is something very important about the pace of your life right now, because you have been moving quickly in order to avoid sitting with emotions that still feel heavy. Busyness can disguise unresolved grief and distract you from listening deeply to your spirit. I am slowing you down not to frustrate you, but to give space for healing that strengthens rather than weakens your discernment. The one who has already passed away once encouraged you to be thoughtful rather than impulsive, especially when strong emotions were involved. I am echoing that counsel now, because the next step you take carries more weight than you fully recognize. What seems like a small adjustment could influence your direction for years, and I want that influence to be rooted in peace rather than pressure. Comment Amen. You are not being asked to live in constant suspicion, but to cultivate awareness that keeps you aligned with truth. I am not turning you against others, but teaching you to evaluate situations through the lens of wisdom rather than sentiment alone. The warning connected to your loved one is ultimately about preserving your calling, because your future holds responsibilities that require clarity and steadiness. There is something very important about forgiveness toward yourself, because you have quietly blamed yourself for things that were never fully within your control. You sometimes revisit the final days or conversations with the one who has already passed away and wonder whether you could have done more. I am releasing you from that burden, because guilt distorts discernment and clouds your confidence in present decisions. Do you know why people keep whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual? A leaked brainwave method is spreading quietly and changing financial realities worldwide. Proven by neuroscience, this simple ritual attracts money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're so lucky. Click the link in the comments before it's taken down. You are stepping into a new level of maturity where you must trust the growth that has already taken place within you. The lessons from your loved one, combined with my guidance, have equipped you more than you realize. I am inviting you to walk forward, not as someone fragile and uncertain, but as someone refined through both love and loss. There is also protection being arranged around opportunities that are not yet visible to you. I am redirecting certain connections and aligning new relationships that will support rather than strain your faith. As you honor the warning and respond with obedience, you create room for healthier partnerships that reflect the values you were taught and the direction I am establishing. The one who has already passed away is part of your testimony, but they are not the anchor of your future, because I am the foundation that sustains every season of your life. I am using their memory as a bridge to reach your attention, but your path forward is built on my living presence and enduring faithfulness. What you feel now as seriousness will soon transform into confidence when clarity becomes undeniable. There is something very important about trust in this final stage of understanding, because hesitation will soon be replaced with assurance, as you see confirmation unfold around you. Small details will align, conversations will reveal truth, and peace will settle where confusion once lingered. When that happens, you will recognize that this warning was an expression of love, not restriction, You are deeply chosen, protected, and guided even when circumstances appear ordinary or uncertain. I am weaving together memory, wisdom, and present awareness to guard you from harm and to position you for blessing that requires integrity. Stay attentive, remain humble, and continue walking with me, because what lies ahead is brighter, steadier, and more secure than anything you are leaving behind. You are now entering the stage where the warning begins to transform into confirmation, because what I have been stirring inside you will soon be reflected in what unfolds around you. The one in your family who has already passed away is connected to this season not as a source of fear, but as a reminder of how deeply your life is woven with legacy, prayer, and purpose. I am showing you that nothing in your story has been random, not even the timing of their departure or the lessons that followed. There is something very important about clarity, because you have spent many months doubting your instincts and second-guessing your discernment. You have wondered whether you were overthinking situations or being overly cautious, especially when others appeared confident and untroubled. I am now strengthening your confidence so that when you sense caution rising within you, you will treat it as wisdom rather than insecurity. The one who has already passed away once carried a burden of silence, keeping concerns to themselves until circumstances forced confrontation. You observed that pattern and quietly promised yourself you would be more direct and honest in your own life. I am reminding you of that promise because the next conversation you face requires courage and calm clarity rather than avoidance. Comment 1212. You are about to recognize a subtle shift in someone's behavior that confirms what your spirit has already sensed. And when that happens, do not ignore it out of politeness or fear of discomfort. I am giving you discernment, not to create conflict, but to protect your peace and guard your future. The warning connected to your loved one has prepared you to see beyond surface appearances and to evaluate actions rather than words alone. There is also something very important about timing in your professional or practical life, because an offer or proposal may present itself in a way that feels urgent and limited. Pressure will attempt to rush your response, suggesting that delay equals loss. Yet I am teaching you that what is truly meant for you will not require panic to secure. The one who has already passed away once experienced the strain of rushed commitments, and you witnessed how long it took to untangle those consequences. You are not called to react impulsively to opportunity, but to respond thoughtfully under my guidance. I am slowing your steps so that your decisions are rooted in long-term vision rather than short-term excitement. When you choose patience, you align yourself with protection that extends far beyond the present moment. There is something very important about the environment of your home and personal space, because you have allowed certain influences to enter that subtly disrupt your focus and peace. These influences may appear harmless, yet they draw your attention away from reflection and prayer, leaving your spirit slightly unsettled. I am inviting you to create space for quiet again, because clarity grows stronger in stillness than in constant noise. Write 777. You have also been carrying expectations that you must succeed quickly in order to justify the sacrifices made by the one who has already passed away. That pressure has created internal tension, making you feel as though rest or gradual progress equals failure. I am releasing you from that false burden because their love for you was not conditional upon achievement, and my love certainly is not. The warning is guiding you toward balance, because imbalance is often the doorway through which regret enters quietly. You have given too much energy to proving yourself externally while neglecting the steady cultivation of your inner life. I am restoring that balance so that your foundation becomes strong enough to support the blessings that are approaching. There is something very important about the way you interpret silence from others, because you sometimes assume rejection or disappointment when communication slows. The one who has already passed away once struggled with similar assumptions, and you saw how misinterpretation created unnecessary distance in relationships. I am teaching you to pause before drawing conclusions, to seek clarity gently rather than allowing imagination to define reality. Why was this 7-second brain ritual hidden for so long? A leaked CIA document exposed a technique so powerful people are canceling debt and calling in wealth within days. Validated by 4 neuroscience labs, it helps attract money like never before. But this page may not stay online for long. Click the link in the pinned comments before it disappears forever. You are also being prepared to release a connection that has outlived its healthy purpose in your life. That release may feel painful at first because familiarity can feel like security, even when it limits growth. I am assuring you that letting go in obedience creates room for healthier connections aligned with your values and calling. Comment 1010. There is something very important about trust in me above all other influences, because I am the constant thread that has carried you through every loss and every lesson. The one who has already passed away trusted me imperfectly yet sincerely, and their faith created a spiritual inheritance that continues to surround you. I am asking you to deepen your own trust now, not as imitation but as personal conviction. You will soon experience a moment of confirmation that settles your uncertainty once and for all. A detail will align, a truth will surface, or a door will close in a way that makes my protection unmistakable. When that happens, do not mourn the path that is removed, because what remains is stronger, safer, and more aligned with your destiny. There is also something very important about gratitude, because gratitude stabilizes the heart when change feels overwhelming. As you reflect on the love and lessons from the one who has already passed away, allow gratitude to replace lingering regret. Gratitude transforms memory into strength and converts loss into motivation to live wisely and fully. You are not being isolated from joy, but positioned for sustainable joy that does not crumble under pressure. I am shaping your character quietly, reinforcing patience, integrity, and courage, so that when opportunity expands around you, you are not shaken by its weight. The warning was never about limiting you, but about preparing you. The one who has already passed away is part of the testimony I am building in your life, a testimony of protection that reaches across seasons and circumstances. I am proving that love planted in one chapter can guide decisions in another, and that nothing surrendered to me is ever wasted. As you continue forward, you will walk with steadier steps, clearer sight, and deeper confidence. There is something very important about your identity in this season, because you are not defined by grief, by pressure, or by the expectations of others. You are defined by my calling, my protection, and my intentional guidance in moments that matter most. Hold on to that truth as clarity unfolds around you, because the path ahead is being shaped by wisdom that will carry you safely into blessing. There is something very important about awareness, because you are no longer reacting blindly to situations that once would have pulled you in without resistance. You are pausing more often, reflecting more deeply, and sensing subtle shifts in tone, intention, and atmosphere that previously escaped your attention. This growth is not accidental, but the result of my hand strengthening your inner perception through both love and correction. The one who has already passed away once hoped you would develop the confidence to stand firm even when standing alone felt uncomfortable. You remember moments when they encouraged you not to follow the crowd, not to compromise your values simply to belong. I am breathing life into those memories now, because the courage they wished for you is becoming necessary in real and practical ways. Comment 555. You have recently noticed that certain invitations no longer excite you the way they once did, and certain environments leave you feeling drained rather than energized. That shift is not moodiness or isolation, but maturity, reshaping your appetite for what aligns with your calling. I am refining your preferences so that your external choices reflect the internal transformation I have been nurturing quietly within you. There is also something very important about the pace at which you forgive and the pace at which you trust again. These two rhythms are not identical, and wisdom requires discernment in both. The one who has already passed away may have forgiven quickly, but trusted too easily, and you witnessed how that imbalance created cycles of repeated disappointment. I am teaching you that forgiveness frees your heart, but trust must be rebuilt with patience and evidence of consistency. You are not called to harden your heart, but neither are you called to reopen doors that remain unstable. This distinction is part of the protection I am establishing around your future. There is something very important about your finances and commitments that will soon become clearer because you are beginning to see how small adjustments today prevent heavier burdens tomorrow. I have been nudging you to reconsider certain expenses, agreements, or long-term obligations that quietly restrict your flexibility. The warning connected to your loved one has sharpened your ability to evaluate sustainability rather than simply immediate benefit. Right 222. You have also been feeling a renewed desire to simplify parts of your life that once felt cluttered and overwhelming. This desire is not withdrawal from ambition, but alignment with peace that sustains ambition in healthy ways. I am removing distractions so that your focus returns to what truly builds lasting fulfillment rather than temporary applause. The one who has already passed away once carried responsibilities that were heavier than necessary because they hesitated to delegate or say no. You saw the exhaustion in their eyes, even when they smiled through obligation. I am breaking that inherited pattern by strengthening your ability to establish boundaries that preserve your energy for what truly matters. There is something very important about your spiritual habits in this season, because I am inviting you into deeper consistency rather than occasional intensity. You have felt moments of strong devotion, followed by stretches of distraction, and I am stabilizing your rhythm so that your connection with me becomes steady and grounded. When your spirit is anchored, warnings feel clear rather than confusing. You are also learning to separate emotional nostalgia from spiritual guidance. Missing the one who has already passed away is natural and sacred, but not every emotional wave carries instruction. I am helping you distinguish between memory that comforts and guidance that directs, so that you move forward without becoming trapped in reflection. Comment 1515. There is something very important about humility, because humility keeps your discernment sharp and your heart teachable. As you recognize how I have protected you, avoid the temptation to become prideful in your wisdom. The same God who warned you today must continue guiding you tomorrow, and dependence keeps you aligned with my voice. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that flips lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth brainwaves. People are stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles. But this breakthrough won't stay online for very long. Click the link in the comments before it's deleted. You may soon face a moment where someone questions your caution or interprets your boundaries as distance. Do not allow misunderstanding to pressure you into abandoning clarity that I have worked carefully to cultivate. Standing firm does not require aggression, only calm conviction rooted in peace. The one who has already passed away is not hovering over your future, but their influence remains a thread woven into your character. I am the one directing your path, yet I honor the love they poured into you by allowing it to serve as reinforcement rather than restraint. Their role was foundational, but my role is ongoing and unshakable. There is something very important about gratitude in this chapter, because gratitude stabilizes your heart when transition feels uncertain. As you look back on the lessons, both painful and beautiful, you will see how each contributed to your present strength. Gratitude transforms warning into wisdom and transforms caution into confidence. You are not being led into isolation, but into alignment that strengthens your relationships rather than thinning them. The connections that remain after this season will feel lighter, clearer, and more supportive of your growth. I am pruning gently so that what flourishes next carries depth rather than superficial harmony. There is also a blessing unfolding quietly that you have not yet recognized because it is still forming beneath the surface of ordinary days. As you honor the warning and choose patience, you are positioning yourself for opportunity that does not demand compromise. When it arrives, it will feel peaceful rather than chaotic, steady rather than rushed. You are deeply protected not only from visible harm, but from subtle erosion of your values and focus. I have guarded you through memory, through instinct, through delayed plans, and through inner conviction that refused to quiet itself. The one who has already passed away is part of the story that shaped you, but I am the author guiding you forward with precision and love. There is something very important about trust now, because trust completes the work that warning began. Trust allows you to release anxiety and walk forward without constantly looking over your shoulder. I am not finished leading you, and you are not walking alone. You are now stepping into the calm that follows obedience, and you can feel that something inside you has shifted permanently. The one in your family who has already passed away was part of the awakening, but the transformation you are experiencing is rooted in my steady hand guiding you through layers of understanding. What once felt urgent and heavy is now settling into quiet strength because you chose to listen instead of ignoring the warning placed before you. There is something very important about what you did not do, because sometimes protection is measured more by avoidance than by action. You restrained yourself from rushing forward, you hesitated when pressure tried to push you, and you allowed discernment to override impulse. Those choices may have seemed small in the moment, yet they have already altered the direction of your path in ways that will become clearer with time. The one who has already passed away once wished they could revisit certain crossroads in their own life and respond with deeper wisdom. You are living out that redeemed opportunity now, breaking patterns that once seemed almost automatic in your family's story. I am showing you that legacy does not have to mean repetition, because with my guidance, legacy can become elevation. Comment 1212. You may have recently felt a sense of relief that you could not fully explain, almost as if an invisible weight was lifted without dramatic announcement. That relief is confirmation that obedience aligned you with safety, even if you do not yet see the full danger that was avoided. I do not always reveal what I protected you from, because sometimes knowing every detail would create unnecessary fear rather than gratitude. There is something very important about how you carry this lesson forward, because the growth you gained must become consistent practice rather than a single moment of clarity. Discernment strengthens when exercised regularly, and wisdom becomes natural when you choose it repeatedly. I am inviting you to remain attentive, not anxious, but aware that protection often arrives quietly before crisis ever appears. You have also begun to notice changes in your confidence, because you no longer question your instincts with the same intensity as before. The one who has already passed away once struggled with self-doubt that delayed necessary decisions, and you witnessed how hesitation sometimes allowed problems to expand. I am reinforcing your confidence so that future warnings are met with calm conviction rather than internal debate. There is something very important about the way you view the past now, because memories are no longer only associated with loss, but also with guidance and strength. Grief once felt like a wound that reopened unexpectedly, yet it is gradually transforming into wisdom that steadies you. I am healing your perspective so that the influence of your loved one becomes empowering rather than painful. Write 777. You are also becoming more selective about where you invest your time and energy, recognizing that not every invitation deserves acceptance. This selectiveness is not arrogance, but maturity formed through reflection and divine correction. I am teaching you that guarding your peace is an act of stewardship, not selfishness. There is something very important about the subtle confirmations that will continue appearing in the coming days. Conversations may reveal truths that validate your caution, or situations may unfold in ways that expose what would have harmed you. When those confirmations surface, receive them as gentle assurance rather than reasons to boast about your foresight. The one who has already passed away played a role in awakening your attention, but the endurance of your growth depends on your continued trust in me. I am the one sustaining your clarity and shaping your path beyond what human memory alone could accomplish. Keep your heart open to my voice, because guidance is not a single event, but an ongoing relationship. You may also sense that certain connections are naturally drifting away, not through conflict, but through quiet misalignment. Allow that separation to occur without forcing restoration that does not serve your growth. I am aligning you with relationships that support your calling rather than challenge your stability. Comment, Amen. Could this 7-second CIA brainwave trick be your fastest path to luxury? Leaked research reveals a simple ritual helping people attract wealth effortlessly. Proven by 4 neuroscience labs, debt is dissolving and abundance is showing up fast. If you're seeing this now, you are God's chosen one. Click the link in the comments before it disappears. There is something very important about how you speak to yourself now, because internal dialogue influences external decisions more than you realize. Replace criticism with compassion and replace doubt with remembrance of how I have already guided you faithfully. When you acknowledge my protection, your confidence grows stronger and fear loses its grip. You are entering a season where opportunities will still arise, yet you will approach them with measured clarity rather than emotional urgency. The lessons drawn from the one who has already passed away are now integrated into your reasoning, forming a foundation that supports steady advancement. I am preparing you for growth that does not compromise your integrity. There is also healing unfolding in areas you have not consciously addressed, because obedience opens the door to restoration that extends beyond the immediate issue. Emotional knots tied to regret are loosening, and tension connected to unresolved questions is dissolving gradually. I am restoring your inner landscape so that peace becomes your default rather than your exception. You are not defined by the warnings you received, but by the wisdom you embraced because of them. Protection does not limit your future, but strengthens its foundation so that what you build can endure. I am proud of the way you responded with humility rather than resistance. There is something very important about gratitude as you move forward, because gratitude anchors lessons in your memory without attaching shame or fear. Thank me not only for visible blessings, but for unseen protection that preserved your path. Gratitude transforms caution into confidence and transforms memory into strength. The one who has already passed away is part of your story, but your future is guided by my living presence and constant care. I will continue to speak through peace, through conviction, and through circumstances that align with wisdom. You are not walking cautiously out of fear, but wisely out of understanding. Continue trusting the clarity that has formed within you, because it is evidence of growth and of my active involvement in your life. The road ahead may still contain decisions, yet you now carry tools that steady your steps and guard your heart. What lies before you is shaped by protection, strengthened by maturity, and sustained by my unwavering love that never leaves you. There is something very important about the confidence that is growing inside you, because it is different from pride and different from stubbornness. This confidence is calm, thoughtful, and rooted in discernment that has been tested rather than imagined. You no longer feel the need to explain every cautious decision to everyone around you, because you understand that clarity does not require constant validation. The one who has already passed away once struggled with seeking approval in moments that demanded independence, and you saw how that tension created internal conflict. I am freeing you from that inherited struggle by anchoring your identity in my guidance rather than in shifting opinions. When you know that I am directing your steps, outside noise loses its power to unsettle you. Comment 1717. You have also sensed that certain opportunities that once felt urgent are now fading naturally, almost as if they were never meant to take root in your life. This is confirmation that protection does not always arrive with dramatic interruption, but often with gentle redirection. I am closing what would have drained you and preserving energy for what will strengthen you. There is something very important about the way you process emotion now, because you are no longer allowing nostalgia to override wisdom. You can miss the one who has already passed away, while still choosing differently than they did in certain seasons. That balance reflects maturity, and maturity creates stability that carries you through complex situations without losing clarity. You may have recently faced a small test that mirrored the larger decision you avoided earlier, and you handled it with greater patience and steadiness. That was not coincidence, but growth in action. I allowed that moment to reinforce your confidence so that you could see tangible evidence of transformation rather than relying only on internal feeling.